Okay, I just had to re-record it. Thanks, my phone. Yesterday was an abject disaster. We're in a hotel right now. It's pretty shit. It's $40 a night total. There's only one PowerPoint. It's in the bathroom. The shower doesn't have a separator from like the toilet.
It just sucks.
There's no aircon. It's just a really low quality toilet, right? Yesterday, my bike broke. Got an impact puncture. Then we went over to the shade, fix it as you do when you get a puncture. This was right after leaving lunch. We're in the town. It was in the town we're in right now, right? We change it, and then the next tube we put in is slowly deflating. Like, not really like an actual puncture, just like slowly deflating. And we think it's because it had a bent valve where you like pump the air in, and that's what was like leaking from there.
Yep.
So we go to a bicyclette store.
We didn't have a fresh tube.
No.
So we just thought we'll get a tube from a bicyclette store.
Yep.
Um,
So we go over to a bike store, and it looks a bit scuffed, not gonna lie. Two guys in there, they are chilling. Instead of, we try to tell him our problem, but he insists on shaking our hands and doing like the kiss on each side of the face first before we can.
He just wasn't listening to anything.
Was completely unconcerned. He was like, well, you haven't, he basically was thinking, well, you haven't greeted us. Why would we talk about the bike stuff? He tells us to sit down and fixes the bike. It's a pretty shabby looking bike store. They're watching kiddie streamers on their computer, which if you don't know is like just women in bikinis chilling in like a hot tub or something, and men watch it. So that was already a bit weird. He came over to me.
They're like 60.
60.
By the way.
He came over to me when I looked at it, and he was like, like it was quality stuff or whatever. Either way, he fixes the bike. It's really hard to leave because they're trying to give us food, but we got to go, right? And we leave, and the bike's still not good. Fix it once. He missed a major thing. He didn't even close the valve.
Yeah, okay, so I'll go through this. So essentially what he's done is he's replaced it with a new tube and a new tyre.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them are used. They're not actually new, but it's different ones.
Yeah.
So we go, okay, this is good, whatever. The tyre deflates pretty after like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, what's going on? He didn't lock the valve.
Yeah.
So if you know about bike valves, you screw it to lock it again. He just didn't fucking bother.
Didn't do it.
There was no dust cap on it. We didn't check this when we left the bike store because we're leaving a bike store, right?
Yeah.
We just kind of assumed it's putting on a fucking wheel, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then, so that doesn't work. We go, wow, he's retarded.
Mm-hmm.
Later down the road, when we're taking the wheel off again, realize the fucking screw that you put in to make the valve stage, you put it on the inside of the wheel.
This thing.
Like he put it inside the rim.
He put it in here. And he had the one on the outside as well. He used two.
Which is like...
Why would you do that?
Why would you do that? And
Makes
also,
no sense.
if we had ridden for longer, could have potentially damaged the rim. Maybe it has damaged the
Maybe
rim.
it has.
I mean, because we do think the rim
We
is
do
damaged.
think the rim is damaged. We went about like 10k out or something.
Yeah.
And went, oh man.
Anyway, the other thing was he lost a spring in...
So you put this thing in, right? This connects the tyre to the thing.
It's like the axle.
The axle. There's a spring on both sides. I take it out. There's only one spring. He just lost it. He must have thought it wasn't worth anything, right?
Not like crucial, but it's like, how do you lose that?
But essentially, we go up this hill, and it's just not working. It's struggling. It's like not flat. Like it's going down way too soft, and it's never going to like an unrideable degree, right? But it's way too tough, and it is flat. You know what I mean? Like
it's like 30-40% flat, and it slowly gets worse over like 6 kilometers.
in a way that doesn't make
minutes.
sense, because if you understand the air pressure, it just should seep out somehow.
Well,
it doesn't make sense.
Anytime you get a flat on a bike, you know immediately.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen slowly. You get a flat, it is flat.
5 seconds later, boom.
So it's a really weird thing, and it's also a really bumpy ride.
Yeah.
So we spent, hours. So we got to this town at 11 a.m.
Yeah.
We left the bike shop at 2
Yeah.
after trying to fix it the first time.
Yeah.
We got to this hotel at like 8 p.m.
Yeah.
We essentially didn't go anywhere between that time. This town's next to a massive...
And the
fucking
weird
mountain.
thing is, we pumped up the tube outside. So we got the tube, we pumped it up, because we thought he might have used the same tube, right?
Yeah,
He didn't. We pumped it up outside of the tyre, and it doesn't deflate. So it's something to do with the way the pressure pushes down each time you ride.
Yeah,
and
the tube doesn't have a hole. We're
No.
pretty sure about that. We also use multiple...
We used multiple tubes. It's been a 3-tube cycle now.
We think the tube doesn't have a hole.
But we just don't get
it's
it.
something to do... the air is coming out just really, really slowly. which is why I think something to do with the pressure. I think the wheel rim is bent a little bit, and therefore when it goes over that part of the wheel, there's a shit ton of pressure on that one point, and it forces a little bit of air out every time. The other reason that supports this is that on hills,
it's not as bad.
It's not as bad, which we think the weight isn't directly on the bottom.
Particularly up hills, not as much downhill.
It's really weird though. Like,
and so
we might just have to get a whole new wheel.
We might. And so we made it back to town, got a hotel, and we need to go to a mechanic today. Hoping the public holiday nature doesn't ruin this, because it's been a public holiday for like 3 days. Stuff's open, but like not all open.
Yeah.
It's like a 4-day public
the other
holiday.
Thing is, this fucking whole ordeal, we're riding like 5k at a time to figure it out. Up and down a fucking mountain.
It's like literally like a 250 meter hill.
Yeah.
Because of course that's where we are when we need to figure out the bike.
So we're just going up and down this 250 meter hill.
To figure out like, is it good? Wrong? Because also, main thing, we're like 250k from like another town with a mechanic, realistically, like with more than one mechanic.
400k.
We're
this town, which sucks.
Yeah.
And then 400k. And then that's
we're really far away from somewhere with like legitimate multiple mechanics where you can hope that something works. So we couldn't set off.
And
there was
we can ride on this.
Yeah.
But we think it'll get worse.
And it's just not worth going that distance. We can't feel comfortable on this thing that we can go that far. But you have to go that far. That's the only...
There's no trains that way.
No.
There's a train here.
But you can't put your bikes on trains.
Yeah, we found that out afterwards last night. You can't put a bike on a Turkish train.
No.
Just
period.
At all. Which is insane. That they just... So like...
So you can't do that.
You can't do that. I guess there's Flixbus through this country, and some Flixbuses take bikes. So like... I mean, we're just thinking about like, if it actually truly did break, we don't want to walk...
a long way.
Like, if we go... Because we're probably going to go to this bike mechanic in town, a different one.
It says good reviews. It's got a guy apparently who fixes all your bike touring needs, speaks good English.
I mean,
but last time it said that, it wasn't that good.
Anyway,
we'll see.
This town's a bit of a... It's not great. So, we're going to try do that, and then essentially just set off, right? Because there's nowhere else to go, right? You essentially have to set off in this direction, and just hope it works. Because it's until we get to the Black Sea, essentially. That's when this stuff. And that's like 400k from here.
It's a long way away.
Which will be like 4 days of proper riding. Right?
Legit. So, we just did 134k the day before as well, longest day ever. Yeah, and then today, we do 40k progress, but 80k total.
Yeah.
So that's tragic, not gonna lie.